with Byron and Eric on this special Friday edition where we've got three great guests showing up. We've got former MLB player Desi Welford up, Charles Wilson, former NFL player, and I'm excited for this one. Fellow Padre announcer Bob Scanlon. I've been trying to get him for so long. So let's get right to it. I'm going to get him on the line. Get him on the line at 9:30. But I want to get started with Desi Relaford. And let's get the show on the road. Shall we, Eric?
You took it. You're in the driver's seat. Let's go. Let's ride with it.
Let's ride with it.
Hello.
Hey, Desi. Welcome to the Sports Space Show. How are you tonight?
I'm doing well, man. How you doing?
Good. I hope you and your family are staying safe like we are out here.
Definitely. Everything's good.
That's great. But I'd like to first get into some current topics, if you don't mind. What do you think about this 60-game season that's starting up on my birthday? Nonetheless, I think the MLB was like, hey, let's make Byron happy. Send him a happy birthday gift and start on his birthday. So what do you think of this 60-game season?
You know what? I was thinking, why couldn't that have been around when I played? You know what I'm saying? That's perfect. Nah, but seriously, I guess they felt like they needed to, salvage the season somehow. So, if they could figure out a 60-game format, I think it's good for baseball fans. There's a lot of people have been missing baseball this season. So any form or fashion that they can get it in, I gives a good gesture.
Hey, Desi, this is Eric, co-host of the show. Thanks for joining us again. I kind of want to ask you about your major league debut. So you get called up, you're playing shortstop. Across the field, you got Ozzie Smith, you got Ron, yeah. Big names there. What was that like?
You know what? It was that was a very that whole day was surreal. I had been traded that day. I was in AAA with Seattle, and I got traded. And to be honest, when they told me that I'd gotten traded to Philadelphia, I assumed that I was going to AAA. That's just, I assumed that I was going to AAA. So I didn't really even know that I was going to Philly till I got to the airport, and my ticket was for Philly. For actually going to Philly.
That's hilarious.
So, no, yeah, those back in those electronic tickets and whatnot, because I was having a horrible season in AAA. And it was just, things were just weren't going well. So I was like, there's no way I'm going to the big league. For whatever reason. So I get there at the end of, I got there during there was a doubleheader that day. So I got there during the first doubleheader, and I didn't know anybody. I had brand new organization, brand new everything. So I got there and get to the clubhouse. I get a uniform, locker, and the next game started probably like in the next hour and a half. So I was just as nervous as could be. You want to play as well as you possibly can. You're playing in front of you're playing on a brand new team. I didn't know anybody. So, it made it that much more, kind of scary. And then being on the field and, like you said, seeing Ozzie Smith, and it was his farewell season. So, host of big league names, and it was super surreal, man. Just I remember a lot about that day. There's a lot of things that I forgot, but I remember that that call-up day.
That's awesome. So I gotta ask you, I remember your career well, because I grew up watching baseball in the early '90s to in the 2000s, and you were a traveling man. You played for 7 different teams that I remember. Do you have a favorite city in particular that you played for?
I think there's a few different cities that I liked that were favorites in different regards. When I played in New York with the Mets, I liked New York because I had a really good season. It was kind of my breakout year after playing in Philly, and you play well, so those fans up there love you, and they still do to this day, which is really cool. And then I had a short stint in San Diego. Really love San Diego just because San Diego is beautiful. You know what you're going to get every day with the weather. The fans are going to show up, and it's just a beautiful place to be. And then I liked Kansas City for the team, the actual team that year. We were, we weren't supposed to be any good, and we ended up having a pretty good team, and we ended up petering out at the end of the season. But that was the funnest team that I'd played on, as far as the team itself, the 25 guys on the roster, and just how we enjoyed being around each other and how we fought and played as a team. That was the funnest part. So, there's a few different...
And with?
I think probably either... there's a few there, man. It's either Tony Pena or Lou Piniella or Bobby Valentine.
Bobby Valentine.
I don't know. I like those guys. Bobby Valentine. Yeah, he was a fan of me. He was a fan of me as a person and as a player, and he gave me opportunities to play, and he stuck by. I had to make his team out of spring that year, and he just kind of took to me, and he gave me an opportunity to play that year, and I'm grateful for that. And kind of the same thing with Lou, where I got to come back. I came back to Seattle after coming, and I had a decent year. Where I played all over the field, infield, outfield. Did the super utility thing, and I think a lot of managers can just appreciate when they have a guy on the bench like that that can play every position. Pretty much any position, and he totally trusted me. Like when you put me in there, there wasn't going to be any drop off. So you're going to get a good player out there that day. So he trusted and liked me, and he tried to get me to go to other places when he left. He left Seattle and went to Tampa, and he tried to get me to go to Tampa. He tried to get me to go to Chicago. Respect for one another.
That's funny that you say he wanted to get you to Tampa. I think we're Rays fans here, or from Tampa Bay, and I think you would be a prototypical Rays player who can play everywhere. There's no drop off, and you can bat 1 through 9.
Right, no doubt. And at the time, it was I'm trying to remember what team where I ended up going. I think that year, instead of going to Tampa, I went to Kansas City because they offered me a multi-year deal.
Right.
As opposed to a 1-year deal. So.
Gotcha. So you played against some really good players, and I was growing up watching. It was a special time for baseball. And do you have a pitcher, a favorite pitcher, or I guess the hardest pitcher you faced, or a few of them? Because you faced a bunch of them, right?
Oof, right. Yeah. I mean, you look at my stats, you think everybody I faced was super good. There were certain guys and I think every baseball player has those guys that you have their number or they have your number. And a couple of guys that had my number were Francisco Rodriguez, K-Rod.
Oh, he was nasty.
K-Rod, yeah. When he came up with the Anaheim, he was just, he was absolutely filthy. He was, he's throwing 98, and he had a 12-6 curveball that he tossed up there around 88, 89 miles an hour too. It was just crazy. He was tough to hit. Him and actually Tom Gordon, Flash Gordon, he was a fossil at the time. Still, he's probably 40 something, throwing 95 still, and like he had my number. I finally got a hit off of him. I was just the happiest guy in the world. But
I gotta take you back to this season. With all these positive tests from players, do you see the season being played out still, or how do you see the season going with all these positive tests and negatives with their testing?
I don't know. To be honest, because there's no rhyme or reason to how they're doing anything. Nothing makes sense. They're floundering on what's safe, what's not safe. It does this, it does that. Like no one knows anything. But I don't know. I could talk on end about what I think about that. But hopefully, that I've heard, and I don't know. And maybe you can tell me if it's true or not. But they were saying that they were going to allow them to play, but like you're not allowed to spit or high five during a game or something like that. Is like
yes,
is that legit?
It's stupid. Yes, it's very stupid.
Yeah, I think that unfortunately,
yeah, it's very stupid.
Yeah, but I'm like, but my thing is, if you're testing guys and guys are positive or they're not, they don't have it. Like, why can't these guys go out and play the game? Without having all these, extra rules and whatever. Like, if we're good, then we're good. It's like the NFL, like the rule where they're saying they can't exchange jerseys after a game. Like, they can go out there and beat up on each other for, for an hour, and, blood and everything else, but we can't give jerseys away at the end because they transmit a disease. Like, get out of here. Like, it's just, there's no rhyme or reason to some of the things that they do, and it shows that they don't know what they're doing. And sometimes, if you don't know, just say you don't know. Like, it's okay to me. Like, if you can just say, hey, we're not quite sure right now, so we're going to approach it this way instead of trying to, make believe that we do have an idea and we know what we're talking about, and they don't. So. I don't know, but the information's out there. I think if people just kind of did their own research, they'd be a little less easy to control, I guess.
So now I gotta ask you before we let you go here, what do you think wins the World Series this year? Pitching or hitting? Which is key to a short season?
I think. I don't know, because pitchers are, kind of usually ahead of hitters at the beginning of the season, a lot of the times. But I don't know, that's kind of changed now. I think it depends on the hitter. Some of the hitters are ahead of pitchers. Some pitchers are ahead of hitters. I think it's just gonna. I don't know, man. It's gonna be tough, man. Maybe. Are they doing anything different with umpiring? You know what I'm saying? Like, cause when I watch games over the last couple of years, it seems like the strike zone is just like it's disappeared.
Oh yeah.
Like these guys got to throw the ball. They got to throw the ball down the middle. For stuff to be called for it to be called a strike. So maybe they're doing that because they want to see more offense, and maybe offense will win it. But these guys nowadays are nasty. They're nasty. Guys are coming in and just letting it blow out for an inning or two. They're throwing upper 90s, 100, with filthy stuff. I would imagine that's harder to hit. So maybe that's what they're doing just to make it, so there is more offense. So I'll tip my hat to offense. Hopefully offense is what's going to win it this year.
So what?
Fair enough.
So one word before we let you go. Who wins it this year?
Who wins it? Wow. Jeez. I'm gonna go with Minnesota. How about that?
Oh wow! I would have not picked them. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, but I told you that it was going to be an offensive team. They're going to bang again.
Yeah, that's true.
They're going to do it again, and they're young, and they're going to come back. I think they're going to keep it. I have no idea. I'm just going to go ahead and throw that Minnesota out there.
We'll see, but we do thank you for it. We would like to have you on again sometime down the line if you'd like to come back on.
Oh, I'd be honored, man. I had a good time. I appreciate you guys reaching out and having me as a guest.
Thank you. Same.
Awesome.
We appreciate it.
Thanks so much, Desi.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Have a good night.
All right, you too. Later.
Bye. Wow. What'd you think of that conversation? 7 teams? Great guy. I mean, and he thinks hitting's going to win it all. I knew favoritism was going to win that, but
Well, he has some sense. I mean, it makes sense there. Where if he's thinking offense, and then the Twins. I mean, the Twins, they can mash, they can rake.
They can. Look at the guys they have. Look at what Rocco has on that team. I mean, he's got.
He got Kepler.
Yeah, Buxton. Yeah, I mean, you got a who's cast. I mean,
Sano.
It's crazy. Sano. Miguel Sano, yeah. So, I mean, so who's who? I mean, as I said, it's going to be an interesting year. We're going to see who wins it. Either you, me, or Desi. We'll see who wins it.
I still think pitching and bullpen wins it, so we'll see. We shall see.
But are you ready to get into the next guest? Talk some football with Charles Wilson?
Let's do it.
All right, let's do it.
Hello.
Hey, Charles. Welcome to the Sports Space Show. How are you doing tonight? Your family are as well, staying safe?
Yes, we are. How about your family?
Yeah, we're trying here. What about you, Eric? Are you staying safe too?
Yeah, we're doing our best over here. Thanks for joining us, Charles. We have Charles Wilson on the phone, former NFL player. So thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So I wanna hop right to it. We see we're both Bucks fans over here, so we saw you played a few years with the Bucks. What was it like playing here?
A whole lot. I'm right up the street in Tallahassee, Florida, so I always had fond memories of coming down to Busch Gardens and hanging out in Tampa. When I got a chance to play for Tampa, it was like a dream come true.
That's awesome. So you're a 5th round pick out of University of Memphis. You get drafted by the Packers. So what was it like playing for University of Memphis and then getting drafted? What was your draft night experience like?
Playing for University of Memphis was a great experience. That's first time being away from home. I grew up a diehard Florida fan. That's where I always wanted to go to school at, but it didn't happen. I ended up going to Memphis, and I think it was my junior year. We ended up playing, the University of Florida. I think they were ranked in the top 10 in the country at the time, and we ended up beating them. So I had some fond memories in college. We basically at that time Memphis was an independent, so we basically played SEC schools. We beat Alabama my sophomore year. We had played, Mississippi State, Ole Miss. We basically played, you can say, a Southeastern Eastern Conference schedule.
Yeah. So I got to stop you there. So you grew up in Tallahassee, but you're a Gators fan. So how did that come about?
I was just always a diehard Gator fan. It's weird because both my mom and both my sisters graduated from Florida State, but they're diehard Gator fans also.
Wow.
You'd be surprised how many Gator fans in Tallahassee.
Wow.
Well, I got to tell my brother who went there and still lives there. He's not going to like to hear that, but I'm.
Whew. Ouch. So then, continuing on with the college, then I gotta ask you now, what do you think's going to happen with this college football season? I mean, there's from the left and the right. Left wants it to get played. The right doesn't want it to get played. Now it's talking about division, just in the division. How do you see this college football season playing out?
That's a good question. It's hard for me to see this season starting on time. You just seen what the Big Ten is going to, just conference schedule only. Now I see the Pac-10 is going to a conference schedule only games. So it's hard for me to see this starting on time with the rate, having the positive tests we've had so far. And then, especially like down in Florida, in the South, where, the count has risen as far as positive test results.
Right.
So as far as I think it's going to take an act of God to see it start on time. I hope it does because I love college football. I love spending my Saturdays watching it, doing a little tailgating every now and then.
Yes.
But for me to say it's going to be a college football season is hard to say. I want one, but I'm not that positive it's going to be one, especially one starting on time.
So, in your NFL career, do you have a favorite moment during a game, or maybe not even a game? Do you have a favorite moment?
Yeah, my favorite moment was 94, if I'm not mistaken. 94, we played the Rams. I had 4 catches, 176 yards, and 2 touchdowns. That was my favorite. Probably my most favorite moment as far as an NFL career.
That's a pretty good game. That gets you a lot of fantasy points nowadays.
And who?
Yeah, it would.
And who?
It would.
And who'd you receive the ball from? Who was the quarterback? Because I'm trying to remember. I forget who it was that time for the Bucks.
It was Erickson, Craig Erickson.
Oh wow! I would have never guessed that game.
Yep, it was Erickson.
Wow. Wow. No name. I would have never remembered him at all. Wow. Do you remember him, Eric?
Yeah.
No, you got me there. I don't.
Oh, wow. So I want to fast forward to today's game. I'm sure you still follow it as well. Do you see Commissioner Goodell has come out and said there's going to be change with the NFL? Do you see the owners standing by Goodell and his decision making on that?
That's a tough one. I feel some owners will be behind them and some owners probably won't be behind them, but I still think they'll show a unified front with the public, but behind closed doors there'll probably be a lot of tension, but the public eye, they'll show a unified front.
I agree with you on that. I totally do.
Yeah, I mean, football has too much money to find a way. So I want to take you. So you finish your NFL career, and then you just decide to play for the Arena Football League, and you actually have success, and you're the rookie of the offensive rookie of the year. So what was obviously there's difference there, but how different is NFL to Arena football?
Big difference. Arena football is just more fast paced, smaller field, no sidelines. It was different. It was truly different. The 2 years I played, I had fun doing it. The crazy part about me being my rookie year, being offense rookie year, I really didn't start till like midway through the season. And you could say I really basically played like a half a season, ended up getting the award, which was crazy to me, but I had a good half season.
Sounds like it, yeah.
Yeah, can't go wrong there. Can't go wrong there. So, I gotta ask you then, going back to your career in the NFL days, who gave you the most fits as receiver when you were facing defenders? Who gave you the most fits?
Two people. One was, of course, Dion.
Of course. I should have known that one.
I'm trying to think. Watching the Redskins, Darryl Green.
Ah, yeah, another good one. Yep. Yep.
Yeah,
He's a good one.
I played against Dion in college. Actually, because we knew each other. Because when I went to my recruiting visit to Florida State, he took me out and everything, so we knew each other. And he always used to, reel me and have fun with me. And then I couldn't beat him. I could never beat him and stuff like that. And Darryl Green, I remember I caught a post on him. I thought I was gone. He ended up running me down. Because of course he was, he used to be he was one of the fastest in the NFL. He won the fastest NFL competition a couple of times when they used to do that. So them two guys right there.
Those are two Hall of Famers, I'd say. Wow, that's pretty good to handle. Yeah, and you. So what would you say your overall catch rate was against them?
Darryl Green, I only played against him, I think it was like 4 times. I caught like 6 passes against Darryl Green. And Dion, I played against him, when he was in Atlanta, when he was in San Francisco. I think I caught so I played against him quite a bit more. I think I caught like 7 against Dion.
Hey, that still ain't bad. I mean, from 2 Hall of Famers, that ain't bad. I mean, I would take that. So now, I want to get into, since you just said Darryl Green, that's a good topic. Since he did play for the Redskins, I gotta ask you, do you think it's right that the NFL team
name changed because everything that's going on in this world, and it is offensive to Native Americans, but they've been the Redskins for so long, it's kind of like ingrained in people's minds and everything, and you change the name, for the most part, most people's minds and eyes, they're still going to be considered the Redskins. No matter if you change the name or not, they're going to still be, to a lot of people, Redskins. But I can understand the reasoning behind it, because everything that's going on in the world, in our country right now.
Sure.
So, but it's like 50-50 to me, but I can see both sides of it.
Yeah, that's true. I can see that too. I want to. I'm sure Eric can agree with me on this too. What I want to talk about our GOAT, as he likes to call him, of our quarterback, Tom Brady, who plays for our Tampa Bay Bucks. What'd you make of that decision of him to come to Tampa? Did you like that instead of staying with the evil mind of Belichick?
You gotta bear with me on this one. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not a big Tom Brady fan.
Neither am I.
But since he's with the Bucks, now, I gotta get behind him and cheer him on. I support the decision because, don't get me wrong, well, I like Jameis Winston, but I was never really in love with Jameis Winston because of all the turnovers. Mm-hmm. I think if Brady, he would minimize the turnovers. If he can get the ball into the playmakers' hands, we should be good to go. We should have a decent, I wouldn't say decent, we should have a great season. Because the only thing we had to do like last was just minimize the turnovers, but we couldn't do that. So if he can minimize the turnovers and everybody's on the same page, I think we'll have a great year. So with that being said, I have to get behind Tom Brady.
What do you see our record as at the end of the year? Huh?
I think we can with the defense we have. Like I said, we played the Saints last year. We were in the games. It was turnovers that killed us against the Saints.
Yeah, true.
If we can minimize the turnovers, and if the offensive line can protect Brady, and we can establish some sort of running game, we should be good on offense.
So before we go, then, we let you go here. We asked this question to all our football guests. Who do you see winning the Super Bowl, and what two teams do you see in the Super Bowl this year?
Who do I see winning the Super Bowl? Now, I'm a homer. I would love to pick the Bucks, but I can't pick the Bucks. I'm just gonna be honest with you. I can't pick the Bucks because with no really off good chance, because once you get into the playoffs, it's a free fall. But it's hard for me not to go against pick the Chiefs again, because the way they played, and they got basically everybody coming back. I see the Chiefs. I'm gonna go crazy. I see the Chiefs in either. I'm gonna be a homer and say either San Francisco again or Tampa in the Super Bowl.
Oh, okay. Good picks. I see that.
Because I'm gonna be down there. I'm gonna be down there for the Super Bowl. So hopefully Tampa's gonna be in it.
Hopefully.
Oh.
I want to see my Chargers in it. So I mean, if they went up against the Bucks, I'd be happy. So I want the Chargers to win it all.
That's gonna be hard for them Chargers going out there in that West, because they the same division with Kansas City. That's gonna be a hard one.
It is. It's gonna be a tough division. That's what I like. But hey, last question I have is I want to talk a little Mahomes. Do you like that deal that he made, not taking all the money?
I can say, yeah, I like the deal because no matter what, he's gonna get his money, and he helped the team out a whole lot. He said he wanted consistency, stability. He wanted someplace to be for the long term. So if that's what he wanted to do, I can never knock a player for choosing to do what's best for them. If he thinks that's best for him, no problem. If he would have said no, I'll play out the rest of my 2 years of his contract and take a shorter deal and then take another long-term extension, I would have understood that too. So if that's what the player wants to do, hey, I'm with him all the way.
Definitely. I agree. But yeah, thank you for taking some time to come on the show. We appreciate it. We would love to have you back on again once there's more football to talk about and there's actually games.
Appreciate it. Yeah,
appreciate it.
Yeah, definitely have you back on, Charles. You and your family stay safe in these crazy times, and yeah, we'll link back up when there's some football.
All right, thank you guys. You guys stay safe, and God bless you and your family.
Same to you. Thank you
as well. Thank you.
Well, insightful, wouldn't you think?
Yeah.
It's hard for him because he said he was a Buck. He loved playing here. He still lives here, and it's hard for you see how he got skeptical there. He got skeptical on picking the Bucks. He wanted to.
Well, that's funny that he's not a big Tom Brady fan. He said, but now he's rooting for him, or at least he's a bigger fan because he's on the Bucks.
I'm not a Tom Brady fan by far, and never will be, but that's just me. So that's my opinion. So
I know you're anomaly.
I am, but I do like his prediction though, because it could actually happen. A rematch from last year's Super Bowl.
I think the Chiefs is a logical Chiefs or Baltimore. Those two are the most logical teams out of the AFC, and the NFC is a little bit more wide open, I'd say. And the Bucks are one of those 5-6 teams that could be in the Super Bowl. Along with the 49ers, Saints, Minnesota.
So then, let me ask you then, before we get into Bob, I want to ask you then.
Yeah.
What are your in the NFL then? What are your top 5?
Yeah, like right now.
Right now, yes. With off-season acquisitions and all that.
Right. Chiefs 1, Ravens 2, Saints 3, 49ers top 5. Well, if they beat the Saints, so if they beat the Saints in week 1, yeah, they're in my top 5 then.
That's strong. Yeah, if they do, and I think they can. I really do. So it's going to be interesting.
Especially if there's no fans, the limited fans. That's a big edge for the Bucks going to the Superdome.
The only downfall is there might not be no preseason games, and that's going to help get stable with the team to help the team out. So that's might be the only downfall.
I think people are bringing that up, and a lot of our guests are bringing it up too. And it's a good point. I don't know. I feel like a Tom Brady-led team, and you have guys like Evans and Godwin, and Gronk, who's played with him. I don't think it's as big of a worry for me if it was another quarterback with another team. So, and I could be wrong, but I don't think that's a big issue. But we will see.
We will definitely see, definitely.
Yeah.
But I'm excited for this next guest. I really am.
I'm going to take the back seat on this one. This one's you.
Oh, you're still asking questions on this one, but
oh, I am.
I can't wait for this one. I've been waiting for so long to get this guy on.
Okay, fanboy.
Okay. Are you ready for him? Bob Scanlon. Let's get him on and talk some Padres. And he told me today, as I told you, did you get the text? We're going to actually hear a game in the background. Live baseball in the background. We're going to hear it.
Yes.
I'm doing fantastic. How are you guys?
I'm wonderful. I hope you're staying safe, just like we are over here.
Absolutely, other than being in a crowd over here at Petco Park watching an inter-squad game. But everybody's practicing some social distancing and having their masks on, so it's all good.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited. As I told you, I'm excited to have you on. I've been wanting to have you on for a long time. Same with you, the rest of your crew over there, eventually. But let's get right to it. I want to start off with the summer camp, as they're calling it. Who is standing out the most? Who is standing out the most to you from what you've seen so far?
Well, I've been really impressed with all the Padres, the way they've shown up in shape, and it's kind of fun to be watching baseball right now. I'm actually standing right next to the Tony Gwynn statue out here at Park in the Park, but honestly, I've been really impressed. There's, no one has showed up out of shape. Everyone has looked good. The Padres were one of the teams that actually started their inter-squad games right on day one, and that's partly because they had so many guys in Arizona also working out here at Petco Park, and forgive the ballpark noise while we're talking here.
Yeah.
But, everyone's been looking really, really good. And Will Myers just hit a home run. He's continued to look sharp. He's picking up where he left off in Arizona. But I was asked the other day who are the two surprises for me, and there was two names that came up. First of all, Jake Cronenworth. Really wasn't much of a surprise, I guess, in that he really impressed me in Arizona. I didn't know much about him. He's the young infielder who can also pitch, and I thought maybe he was just going to be in camp as a curiosity, so to speak. Can pitch a little bit, can play a little bit of infield, but because he does both, let's take a look. But to be honest with you, he has been super impressive on the defensive side. Great range, good quickness. He can swing the bat. He's legit. So he's been fun to watch, and he lit it up again for me in the first day of inter-squad games, making some diving plays at shortstop and second base. So he's been fun to watch as one of the young guys, and also Edward Olivares, one of the top prospects for the Padres, 23-year-old outfielder who has some pretty good speed, good power, and he's looked outstanding in his at-bats against some of these big league pitchers so far here in the early going. So maybe not the names that you'd expect to hear in terms of everyday players, because all the rest of the guys are doing their thing, but as far as two surprise guys that have stood out to me that I think might really help their team, especially in this unique 60-game situation, those are a couple of guys who may help out more than people are thinking right now.
Hey, Bob, this is Eric, co-host of the show. Thanks for joining us. And funny, so I think Byron told you, but we're out here in Tampa Bay, so I'm a big Rays fan, and I actually was going to bring up Jake Cronenworth because when we traded him over there, I actually was really high on him. He was a captain, at University of Michigan, and the Rays, started him as a two-way player recently. Do the Padres see him, or are they still going with him as a two-way player?
Well, Eric, yes. Well, yes and no. I'll say it like this. In spring training, he was pitching a little bit, so they had him throwing some bullpens. Clearly, he has a strong arm. I think he was probably 92, 94 on the fastball, so there's enough there with the heater. But, he had to work on his command. He was working on the breaking pitch. It wasn't as though they were working him into games. It was more a situation of, okay, let's try to get him some bullpen work in between his primary function, which was going to be working on the infield. So I think they were entertaining it. They were flirting at it, looking at it as a possibility. But I think now, given how much has changed over here, I've not heard of him throwing bullpens. I know that he's been working out at first base, second base, shortstop. He's got his hands full trying to stay as versatile as he can possibly be for the rosters, the way they need to be put together with this limited, roster and short season. So I'm not expecting him to see him pitch very much. And to be honest with you, the Padres don't really need him to pitch that much. They have such a deep bullpen that it's not as though they're looking for additional arms. In fact, their problem coming out of Arizona was going to be, gosh, we're going to have to make some tough decisions to send some of these bullpen arms out. But now they have the luxury of maybe carrying an extra couple of those guys with a 30-man roster that's going to start the season with. So who knows? There may be some pitching in Jake's future, but I'm not sure it's going to be this season, guys.
I am psyched up about this season because last week, as I told my colleague Eric, with the Rays and the Padres, we have been those two teams have been number 1 and number 2 in minor league systems for years now. So I was trying to tell him that I see the Padres and the Rays both being World Series contenders for years down the road. I mean, can you agree with that, with all these good talent, arms, and hitters that both the organizations have? I mean, for God's sake, down the line, what's your take on that?
I can't disagree with you, and it's been interesting to watch the Tampa Bay Rays for many, many years now compete in one of the toughest divisions and continue to develop it. Battle against the Red Sox and the Yankees and those other big market, big talent teams out there. And, hey, they've consistently done it for many, many years. Now, the Padres have been a little bit newer to coming to that. For a long time, their minor league system was not ranked as one of the top minor league systems. But when A.J. Preller came on, look, he and ownership really made a commitment to turning things around and just making that commitment to the minor league guys and the prospects. They went out, they spent a ton of money on the international players. They did a great job in the draft. And here they are with the top system over the last 3 years. And they're starting to see some of the rewards from that. You're starting to see Tatis up in the big leagues, and Chris Paddock is up in the big leagues, and Nelson Lamet is up here now. And, there's going to be some other guys coming up as well. So we might see Gore and Patino before this season is all done. And those guys have been super impressive so far, both in Arizona and here in summer camp. So, yeah, it's fun to watch. And I don't disagree with you in terms of these are two teams that could potentially be making playoff runs for many, many years. Now, granted, there's never a guarantee, right, guys? We've seen this all the time, right, where you have a top minor league system and it doesn't play out until you get guys to the big leagues. I look at the Cubs. Remember when the Cubs, I think it was 3 years ago, the year that they won the World Series, everyone thought that they were going to be doing that for the next 4 or 5 years. They had a window to be in the World Series every year. And then it's not that the talent changed. It's just things happen. So there's no sure shots, but I think the Padres are finally doing it the right way, and the Tampa Bay Rays have been doing it the right way for a long time. They've been very creative, and I agree. These are two young, fun teams to watch and could be playoff contenders for a while if everything continues to go well.
Great. Completely agree. So Padres are in a very similar situation with the mighty Dodgers there. Do they have, in a 60-game season, can they compete with the Dodgers and overtake them possibly in this short season?
Well, I'll ask you guys, is there any question that anybody could win this thing this year? I mean, isn't that part of the fun of the 60-game season?
Yeah.
It's players are calling it like a playoffs. The playoffs is day one. So, it's going to be a fun sprint. When baseball's not a sprint; it's a marathon. But this year, it's a sprint.
It's a sprint, and what's interesting is anybody has an opportunity. I mean, even teams that you traditionally look at. So here's my question. Here's what I'm trying to deal with, guys, and maybe you've got an opinion on it. On the one hand, I can argue, look, the real advantage that some of those big boys have is the depth, right? They've got tons of opportunities, tons of options, tons of guys that they can continue to bring along. A lot of these big teams use their AAA almost as just a holding bin for the next big league guy to call up when they need him, and they just keep cranking them through. And over the course of 162 games, it just becomes an attrition thing where the smaller teams, they lose a player, they can't replace him as easily as the big teams do, right? And so you can have a great start, but you're always thinking, well, it's going to catch up to them. They're not going to be able to do this over 162. So for me, I feel like maybe that advantage to the big teams is taken away. One of these smaller market teams or teams that don't have as much depth in terms of the impact talent, if they keep everybody on the field and keep them healthy, they can do it for 60 games. And maybe they eliminate that. On the other hand, though, I flip to the other side and I say, well, this year more than ever, there might be a turnover of rosters. COVID can kick in. injuries from guys trying to get spring training going sooner than, cranking it up in 3 weeks instead of 4 might kick in. How bullpens are used is going to be vastly different potentially because of the urgency to these games and managers managing different. So on that side, it may turn out that the depth still does become a factor. It's just in a more condensed fashion. So I don't know if you guys have sort of, had a feeling about which way that's going to play out. But bottom line is, I think here's an opportunity for teams that most people would have written off. Maybe if everything goes right, it only has to go right for a third of the amount of time that's had to go right before. And I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
And now it's funny you say that now about injuries because God bless him. Like, I liked him when he was here. Eric knows who I'm talking about, and I know you know who I'm talking about. Will Myers. I enjoyed his time here. I loved his talent. Very talented guy, but unfortunately, he just can't stay healthy. Do you think he can stay healthy for this season and next season?
That's a great question, Byron. And as you said, you guys both got a chance to see him early on when he was a young, exciting prospect. We got a chance to see him and be an all-star here in San Diego and really became the face of the franchise. Got that nice big 6-year extension.
Yeah.
He's now in the 4th year of that extension. And certainly injuries have been an issue. And we've got some dogs out here enjoying the game at Petco Park as you can hear. Everyone's welcome here at Park in the Park to watch baseball.
That's right.
So Will did have some injury issues early on. Last year, injuries were not an issue. He just flat out didn't perform the way he expected and the Padres expected, and it was extremely frustrating. I think this year could be a lot different for him for several reasons. First of all, you have a new manager in place, and I know that he and Andy Green had a very close relationship for many years while Andy was here. Towards the end, I think there was some tension there. So it's a fresh start with a new manager. The other thing is, at the end of the year, Will started working with the assistant hitting coach, Damian Easley, and it looked like Will started to find a groove towards the end of the season. He really built a nice, comfortable relationship with Ease. Ease, as a former big leaguer, he really connects with these guys extremely well, and of course, Damian got the full-time primary hitting coach job this year, and I think one of the reasons he got it is because the work with Damian Easley working on his hitting, but also Tony Womack near his home in North Carolina. Whatever they were working on, when Will came back to spring training, there's 2 things that I've noticed. And number one, his stride is a little bit smaller, and he's hitting the ball opposite field again. That is when Will Myers is going his best. Last year, guys, for some reason, right from spring training, it was pull. I'm not exactly sure why, but this year, he has been hitting the ball opposite field again, which is his strength. And the other thing is, because of the slightly shorter stride, his head is not moving quite as much. He's much quieter in the box. Now, the former pitcher, when I'm facing a guy and he's able to hit the ball opposite field, cover the outside part of the plate, and he's not moving his head very much, it makes it much more difficult for me to work him back and forth, to speed up his bat, get him to commit, get him out front on that front foot, and then work back on him with the off speed. You can't do that as much with Will in Arizona, and now same here in the inter-squad games that I've seen here at Petco Park. In fact, that home run that he hit was off Zach Davies. It was a fastball outer half. He happened to pull that one, but he was so quiet with his body and his head. He just spun on it, and it's been fun to watch. So there's a lot of reasons there, both sort of mentally, emotionally, and physical changes that he's made.
I gotta ask you, as a follower of Fox Sports San Diego for quite a number of years have I been now, who do you win, Pomeranz or Sweeney?
Oh, it's got to go to Mark Grant, doesn't it? I mean, he's the stick that stirs the drink. And he's a character. He's nonstop all the time. I mean, even on the planes, he's nonstop. And in the hotels, he's nonstop. On the road, at home, wherever he is, you know that there's a party wherever Mark Grant's going to be. So he's had a lot of fun. And I think him and Don Orsillo working together has been great for both of them. I think it allows Don to have more fun in the booth. It's freed things up for Mud. They have a great relationship. They play off each other super well. And let's be honest, we still get baseball talk in, but we have a fun time doing it. Fans seem to love it, and we just have a great time on the broadcast.
Yeah, I love it. I enjoy it. I enjoy it every night that it's on, and I can't wait till you guys actually air games again. Which I gotta ask you before we let you go. Do you know
the Padres were trying to keep them generally under wraps? There's only so much you can do when you've got a public park out in center field. So Myself and a couple other media members and fans have been coming out and enjoying these games. But I think they're going to start streaming them next week for season ticket holders to view and maybe other people as well. But I don't know when the actual first broadcast is going to be. So maybe they've announced it. They haven't included me in on it. But, whenever it is, we're going to be ready to roll and looking forward to seeing hardball again on the TV. Right, guys?
Yeah, I know. I can't wait. It's going to be a fun year. I can't wait to see it. Definitely. I want to see Hosmer, Machado, Tatis, and the rest of the crew do well. I can't wait. I want a World Series ring. I want it this year. It's going to happen. I want it.
And it sounds like you guys want a Tampa Bay San Diego World Series is what I'm sensing.
Oh, yes.
Yes, I think so.
Yes, but I want the Padres to come out the victor, not the Rays. Sorry, Eric. Sorry, Eric.
Sorry, Eric. I got to go with Byron on this one.
Okay, I'll let it slide.
but yeah, we thank you for taking some time to join us. With your busy right now, obviously with the game going on in the background. But we'd love to have you on again if you don't mind. I'll get back with you on down the line whenever you want to come on.
Absolutely. I know it took a lot of logistics to get this to work out, partly because of the unique situation that we're in, but I appreciate your persistence in getting me on. It's been a pleasure to talk with you guys, and I look forward to doing it again soon.
Definitely. Can't wait for it.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us. Really appreciate it.
Thanks, Byron. Thanks, Eric. Take care, guys.
You too.
Thanks. Take care.
Bye. Did you love hearing that action?
That was great. It was a lot of fun. Obviously I don't watch Padres games, like you do, but the guy seems like he has a lot of fun, super knowledgeable, and I mean, I've always thought the Padres were a team that I could root for on the National League side. So, yeah, I have nothing against the Padres, and I hope they beat the Dodgers and.
And go figure. And go figure. He has. We were on with him. Go figure. The first couple of seconds we were on with him. Guess who hits the home run?
Will Myers. Yeah.
Will Myers. Go figure.
And it's funny that he brought up Jake Cronenworth. I actually was going to mention about him. I didn't think he'd bring up the guy's name.
I didn't think so either, but he did. I know. I was waiting for you. I was like, because I thought that was going to be one of your questions, because I know we sent him over in that deal as a two-way player.
Yeah.
He was one of our top prospects.
Well, he wasn't a top prospect. I mean, he's worked his way up, and he was a quality prospect, I would say. And he was probably going to find his way on the 40-man roster for sure. And he may have well been on the 30-man roster to start the season. But yeah, no, good for him. Hopefully he does well out there. I nothing but good things for him. So
yeah, I gotta let you see it sometime. I gotta let you see it sometime. And yeah, I agree with him. Ron Grant is one of the funniest characters. You think BA's funny? You think BA's funny with the Rays?
Saying Ron Grant?
Ron Grant, yes. He's the guy that does the games with Orsillo on the TV. Yeah.
Does he? So funny. I mean, when we were talking with Desi, I mentioned Ron Grant.
No, this is a different one. There's two.
Oh, Ron Gant. I'm thinking Ron Gant. I said Ron Gant. You said Ron Grant. Oh, my bad.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're thinking of the other one. Yes.
Yeah, right. No, it sounds like they have a lot of fun, much like BA and Dwayne.
Yeah.
The whole have to start watching some Padres games. Yeah.
Yeah, you'll have to. It's very entertaining. I mean, they're always they're not, like you said, just not always talking baseball. They're having fun, always smiling, having fun, just like BA and Dwayne. So you gotta see it.
What it's all about. That's what it's all about. But yeah, before we let this, before we end the show here, any lasting comments, Byron?
The show was great. I'm glad we got 3 great guests on. That we were able to fit 3 our first time. I mean, yeah, it was quick, but I still enjoyed it. It's not going to happen. So
it's good stuff. Talking. Yeah.
Is
talking
there any
some
other
baseball, football. So
Is there any other things you want to bring up real quick before we head off? Like what's coming up tomorrow?
no, we got some UFC fights, but we'll talk about them Sunday.
Sunday?
How about that? Yeah.
We can do that. Okay.
So.
Sounds good. I will let you know who the guests are for Sunday. I'm not 100% sure on that. So I will text you tomorrow on
Perfect.
that. But yeah, it was a great show. Thanks for being here, Eric. So
Yeah.
let's do this
Everyone
again.
Have a good night. Have a good weekend, and we'll see you. See you
Let's do
Sunday.
this again Sunday. Have a good night, guys. Stay safe.